It's just a total swing and a miss by the national governing body, by USA Basketball. I reported on that team at the 1984 Olympics in LA, and every single Olympics after, I haven't missed one, lucky me, so fortunate. You put Caitlin Clark on that team, the team that so richly deserves attention.
Did you know that Christine Brennan, the reporter at the center of this WNBA controversy, has been covering women's sports for decades? She's even been called an advocate for the WNBA. So why are the players turning on her now? Let's get into it. The athlete's words had a greater impact than a slam dunk, but pause, it would be prudent to go back in time. Consider a credible reporter asking a rising star why she chose not to compete in the Olympics. Do you also think that sounds like nothing special? Completely untrue. We now need to reassess our presumptions about the nature of sports journalism and the interactions between coaches and players in light of the uproar that question ignited. We shall analyze it here. Christine Brennan, a seasoned reporter covering women's sports, questioned DJ Carrington over Caitlin Clark's removal from the Olympic team. Not at all difficult, is it? Everything started to go out of control as soon as it happened. The WNBA Players Association had a firm position despite their disagreement with the subject itself. Brennan was charged with starting a few quite awkward things. At its worst, this is racist, homophobic, and misogynistic vitriol. They said those things, not me. Think it's real, do you? A basic question about team selection sparked the start of this enormous problem. But that wasn't all. Well-known female participants were from the Women's National Basketball Association. They were almost losing it over Brennan's line of questioning. It's as like every reporter in the league united to take on that one specific reporter. Terry Jackson, the director of the WNBA Players Association, was unrestrained. He called Brennan's question a blatant attempt to bait a professional athlete into participating in a narrative that is false. Whoa, that was rather blunt. You might be wondering, what's the big issue? The media has a reputation for asking a lot of questions. You and I both agree, but a deeper problem is at hand, as seen by the WNBA players' response.
It's just a total swing and a miss by the national governing body, by USA Basketball. You put Caitlin Clark on that team, the team that so richly deserves attention. I have dropped into the women's basketball team at some point. I think I counted 5 at least gold medal games that I covered.
It seems like their investigation uncovered a myriad of issues the league has been dealing with. Do they have a method for handling criticism? Who is imposing accountability on the players and the journalists who cover the team? The problem as a whole is now being discussed instead of just one reporter or query. Regarding athletes' relations with the media, a huge scandal has surfaced. Should reporters use caution so as not to enrage the players? Alternatively, must they be scared to pose contentious queries in order to discover the truth? Players in the WNBA have a long history of voicing their opinions without fear, but this is genuinely unheard of. Because of this, some are beginning to question whether the league is unduly sensitive to criticism. Could it be that they are keeping important conversations from starting? But one could counter that the players are right. Was there any way Brennan might have phrased his question? I wanted to know if there was a way to ask questions about Clark without demeaning the current team. While everyone else was debating Brennan's question, America Today was getting ready for its own brawl. What they said next surprised both the players and the supporters. Will this be the moment when athletes and the media start interacting differently? I believe that the drama was over. Consider it again. At USA Today, something unexpected occurred, and it's all the news these days. Not only are they defending their reporter, but they are also defending the idea of the fourth estate. Folks, that is the lingo of the news industry. Let me now inform you, the WNBA Players Association filed a disciplinary complaint against Christine Brennan via USA Today. They said her query was an attempt to create division and make up a tale. In contrast, USA Today, they are not going down with any of it. They came out swinging since their declared purpose is to report with objectivity. They flatly refuted any political or ideological overtones in Brennan's remarks. They seem to have declared a region and invited everyone to trespass on it. After this, it becomes even more juicy. Everyone is talking after USA Today sports chief executive Roxana Scott made a surprise. She went on, "Christine Brennan is a respected champion for sporting women and girls, not just any old reporter." The worst part, though, is that Scott explicitly stated how important his duty as a journalist is. It's like seeing a heavyweight boxing match between two fighters. Players on the Women's National Basketball Association are resolute in their support of one another. One voice that supports journalistic artistic freedom is USA Today, which is located in the other. Who do you predict will prevail? It's no longer restricted to a particular reporter or investigation. A contentious issue nowadays is how athletes and the media should interact. Do reporters have the right to ask any questions they want? Is it appropriate for athletes to sidestep inquiries they find offensive? But what's the most outrageous thing? This entire episode is taking place at a time when women's sports are seeing unprecedented levels of popularity. There's a fight breaking out between the players and the press as new stars in the WNBA debut.
I have covered this women's basketball team, and I've covered it longer than anyone else probably, setting the agenda for the coast. That's why this is so remarkable, unprecedented, never before seen. I reported on that team at the 1984 Olympics in LA, and every single Olympics after, I haven't missed one, lucky me, so fortunate. And what happens when you go to a women's gold medal game, U.S. women's basketball, the greatest team, most dominant team on the planet?
Just when you thought the WNBA season could not be any more thrilling, Caitlin Clark shows up. She's broken records, sold out venues, and become a media favorite. Regretfully, not everyone is thrilled with what she has accomplished. Will this league allow Clark and the other well-known players to compete, or will we see a titanic showdown? Caitlin Clark's rise to fame has been nothing short of amazing. She's changing her field and creating waves. After her performances, women's basketball is all the news, and she is earning hundreds of new followers. It was like a light switch flicking, and everything was transformed. The WNBA is more popular now than it has ever been. But from this point on, things become more complicated. Clark's performance is very beneficial to the league, but it's causing quite a stir behind the scenes. A handful of the more seasoned WNBA stars are feeling the heat. They have long been fighting for recognition, and their careers have been developing steadily. And now this newcomer appears and turns into a favorite among all of them. You can be certain that tension is rising. Remembering high school with the weight of endorsement deals and million-dollar contracts added on. Several players are concerned that Clark's celebrity may overshadow their own achievements. Do they deserve the blame? They seem as though they are being pushed aside after leading the way in women's basketball. The existing division within the league is a severe matter. As a result, a lot of people are beginning to wonder if the WNBA is going to go through some severe growth pains. On the one hand, it's exciting to watch as more and more people grow to love Clark because of his incredible performance. However, there are some seasoned professionals who aren't quite ready to step back from the limelight. Let's change our focus to those new admirers now. Everything is operational, and they are eager to learn the source of everyone's excitement. But what happens if their newly chosen player gets mixed up in all of this controversy? It could come across as really unsettling. The WNBA shouldn't take the chance of offending its target demographic and losing them. The league now finds itself in a challenging situation. How can all sides be satisfied? We should help those who have been doing a great job for a while. They can't ignore the new talent, though, as it is attracting a lot of attention and admirers. Like balancing burning basketballs on a tightrope was a simple task. To make this happen, the WNBA needs to find a way. They ought to show love to the senior players while also throwing wide their arms to the younger ones.